Well, welcome back to the Lush Mind podcast.
Hey, I'm Keisha.
And I'm Laurie.
And we're the Gospel Twins.
Now, today's episode is going to be a little bit more focused
Yes.
on dating.
That's why we're in our bright colors.
Yeah, bright lights.
But come out and say, "Boy, we're here and we're dating."
We're going to talk about how God has been moving in our life, specifically, personally, our dating life.
Yes.
And kind of like what has happened since, again, you guys last saw us, As you can see, there's no ring yet. So we're still pray and do Easter fast and every kind of fast, just to slim up and trust God at the same time.
No, it's real. And that's actually a part of like the dating that God's revealed, which we'll kind of get into. But yes, as you were saying, girl.
Let's get into it.
Let's
not keep them waiting. They want to know what really is going.
Yes.
Starting with you.
So basically, I don't even know where to start, to be honest. Dating has been interesting, I will say. And actually for me, I haven't really been in the dating scene too hard, if I'm being honest, because I think, based on the last episode, if you guys tuned in, when I got let go from my job, it really was a transition season where I had to kind of like reroute my whole life, And at that time, like we were still growing spiritually, we were still growing financially. So to be honest,
spiritually was
the huge thing. Yeah. 100%.
Because we were really in the world, and you guys know we were deep in it.
This girl said, really, really, really in the world.
Everybody at some point.
It's true. I think coming, back into the faith, because we grew up Christian, grew up in the church. Dad was a pastor. But like everybody who came from that kind of similar upbringing, once you hit 18, once you move out, all bets are off. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have that freedom. So now you're like, let me explore. Let me see what life's all about.
Exactly.
And that was kind of where, and we moved to Toronto at 18 for school. So like we were fresh in like the big city,
It's true. Because we did come out from our parents' wings, and then we were kind of just let loose in a sense.
Figuratively
loose into the streets. No, obviously
honestly,
it would be action, but it was more like clubbing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
And like to be honest, we got into all of it, like drinking, smoking, all of that. So to be honest, it was like a free for all in that sense. And it wasn't until we kind of came back to Christ, we got saved, and that's where the mindset shift happened and started to happen, because it was a transition for sure. And sometimes now even you want to fall back into ways, but
sometimes you want to go back to what you're used to, but you have to like almost push forward and say like, let me not go back to what
exactly.
it was.
Especially when it comes to dating, like, when you go out to a function or you go out to an event, like you may be like, oh, back in the day I used to do this, or like, whatever your ways of were to meeting
I think back
people.
in the day, like if I can speak for myself, like back in the day, because I feel like you're trying to like
go around.
You're trying to sugarcoat.
I'm trying to go around, man. I'm trying to ease into it.
This girl thinks she's slick, but you go and talk about your experience because it's important. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to gloss over things and generalize things. But I can speak for myself. Like back in the day, obviously, it was easy to like talk to men. It was easy to try and, get numbers and caravana. And the purpose was to do whatever, like get numbers and connect with Americans. That was the biggest thing, right? You're in Toronto. You're like, oh, someone from America, let's chat. I think coming into it now, you're not really going to find me too much on the parades. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll watch it on TV. But yeah, like I think it's a different approach.
Yeah.
We've matured from who we were before, We're not like out on like trying to, in a sense, on the prowl. Like it sounds bad, but the truth is when you're young, that's really what it is. You're trying to make connections.
Yeah.
I think now the connections that we're trying to make are a lot more mature, a lot more serious.
Yeah.
Marriage-minded, family-minded, Christ-minded.
Yeah.
So before it was more easier for me to chat to guys, I would say. Where now,
even to interject for a second, like back then, again, the smoking, the drinking, like those additives kind of made you feel a bit more confident to like even approach, or if you're being approached, like to have that conversation. Like, so now, obviously, we don't do that anymore. You have to really lead with like a true, genuine conversation, like to see like our interests align, not just like, oh, I'm at the club trying to get a drink or whatever. Like you're actually like, what's the intention behind this?
Exactly. And it shows obviously our mindset from before was foolishness to the max, like just foolish. You know what I'm saying? Like, But now as we mature and we're coming into that, like, you know, wife level and family and motherhood and all that kind of stuff.
Proverbs 31
woman, you know, like, you know, trying to be that partner for whoever God has for us, you know. It's true. You have to go in it more with a purpose and walk with purpose and intention now. So I'm not just going to now talk to any Tom, Dick, and Harry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to just chat to every man that walks by. You know, because not every man is for me. You know, so now it's more like, okay, God, how do you want me to approach this situation if it comes to dating, or if somebody asks us on a date? How do you want us to go about it? I would say, though, I have to seek God more. Because it is easy to kind of fall back, like you said. And especially when it comes to dating, like wanting to take control of who we talk to or how we meet people. And it's like we have to kind of remember, is this being intentional? For example, sometimes it's easy to be, okay, we're gonna go to a club for whatever, someone's birthday or whatever the case may be. And we're thinking, okay, we're going to go to the club and maybe we'll meet somebody that. And it's like, are we really, really, really seriously going to meet our husbands there? Sometimes I have to ask myself that question. I'm going to be honest. Because it's like, if I've been delivered from, you know, wilding out and doing the most, am I going to really want to connect with someone who's still in that phase of life? I'm not saying that you can't meet a Christian man at the club, because I'm a Christian woman at the club for whatever reason, if it's the birthday party or whatever, right? So I try not to have that mindset, because I have to trust that God can bring your husband from anywhere. And a lot of people meet at a party. But I think sometimes it's hard, is all I'm saying, is to change that mindset of like, oh, am I really going to meet someone here? Like, you know?
And I think, too, sometimes when you're in that waiting season, you start to take things into your own hands, like you're saying. So it's like, okay, like, I don't feel like the guy is coming quick enough. So let me start going back to environments where I at least was meeting guys.
Or you thought you were successful.
What do you mean?
Like, you may go back to an environment where you thought you were successful. You know what I mean? Like sometimes even online dating, doing that before and saying, okay, well, I was successful before and let me go back to this. But if God's saying to try a different route this time.
So I think that's sometimes where I struggle with now in this season is like the trying not to do it on my own, trying not to do the most, you know? And like kind of like to background it, coming out of the job, going through that whole transition, trying to grow spiritually. I did have to take a couple years to work on myself, because the reality is, like Laurie said, like the mindset has to change. If I want something different, if I want something more stable, if I want something more long term, I have to grow my mind in that aspect, you know? And again, the finances were not financing at the season. So it was really learning, like, okay, how to grow my business, how to, you know, become a realtor in this new role, and just all these things, you know? So I would say for me, it really has been like maybe 2 years since I've been actively like dating and like trying to get back out there in the scene, you know?
But you are currently
in the
trying
scene?
to get back out into the scene. All right. So that's
what I'm saying. It's been 2 years since like the actual like making an effort, like, because as a realtor, you're going to beer events. You're at networking. And at the time, my mind wasn't even looking. But now I'm like, okay, like, let me be a little bit more intentional when I go to certain events. Or like, let me, you know, just kind of have more conversations or whatever the case may be, because I'm actually trying to put myself out there in that sense. So within the last 2 years, it's kind of been a slow start, because as much as, you know, you're out there, you're talking to people and stuff, like, you're not always coming across maybe people that you feel like you're interested in, or environments that maybe are, you know, going to bring that, like you're saying, if you're going to a club or whatever. Like, so it's hard for me, I would say, to like find spaces where I feel like I'll meet somebody that can kind of be husband material, if that makes sense. And there's places, like we go to a lot of church events and stuff like that. But sometimes in the church, I'm not going to lie, it is hard. You know what I mean? Or there's one man to like 50 girls. And it's
the ratio is completely skewed
the math
to
is
the
not
left.
mathing.
It's not mathing.
So it's
no,
like,
it don't make no
as much
sense,
as you're trying to now be intentional, it's like, where to mend them. That's kind of, I guess, where my point is.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. And I think a lot of women out there can relate. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the struggle's real. You know, we thought, okay, this must be just like a Canadian thing. Maybe it's a Toronto thing. But we've gone to the States. We've gone to different countries just in general, right? And it seems like a similar pattern. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's hard to find people who are very intentional.
Yeah.
So I think it could be a cultural thing that like there has been this shift where sometimes people are kind of just obviously living in their, in their freeness and doing what they want, which is cool. But it's hard to really find that like that love of like, okay, we want to be married. Like this is what we are searching for. And sometimes I feel like in the South, like in America in the South, that still has, like they still have that mindset.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but some of them still have that mindset where it's like, okay, like we're in the church, we're going to get married, have kids, like that Southern love.
Yeah.
But it is hard to find like elsewhere.
Yeah. And that's where the whole control aspect comes back into play. Like you don't necessarily want to, go against what you're hoping for or, praying for. But then it's kind of like, okay, there's not enough guys in the church maybe, so let me go to this business function or let me go to this
festival or whatever.
Yeah. Because again, Christians attend it, we attend it. Like
and we're not saying anything's wrong with it.
Yeah, like we're outside too, you know what I mean? So if somebody would approach me, like I know if I'm there and like I'm trying to be intentional, there are other people there too. And I think too, because it's something that's a little bit more like, in the culture or fun or, you know what I mean? You want to go to those type of things where sometimes, unfortunately, in the church, like, it may not be as
appealing. Like, it may not be as appealing for the opposite, sex, like for mendom to come through. Like, like they'll have Christian events. Yeah. And there'll be like 5 guys who are cousins of a cousin of a cousin. You know what I'm saying? And they are like, let's be real. Yeah. There's 5 guys, you know what I'm saying, that are in the church, and there's 50 women. Yeah. So it's a tough one. And from those 5 guys, some are about 45 years old, 50, 60, 70 years old. Some are, really, really young. Like, so it's hard to get that niche of what you're actually looking for in a husband. Whereas we go to a festival, or if we go to like, concerts or anything like that, there's a little bit more chance of meeting somebody because there's more people there. Yeah.
And a lot of people are doing big things now, I find too. You know what I mean? Like when we go to like business events, like when you go to like networking events, like a lot of people are really established. A lot of people are really, working on their career, working on their business. Like they're essentially like checking all the boxes in that regard. It's now kind of weeding through them to be like, okay, like from a faith standpoint, like do we align? Like
exactly.
Is there an openness? Like that's kind of where it's harder to kind of weed out the people and see if the values are there. But other than that, it's good because you can see like, okay, there are guys out here doing big things. You know what I mean? So it does give hope. Yeah. Because when you come across a guy who has his stuff together and, who is doing big things, it's kind of like, okay, we're getting into spaces where at least there's a little bit of like an elevation in terms of like
a where we're at. Mindset. Yeah. And I think, so let me just start like this. Like what I want to say is like, it is still good to like venture out and come out the house. That's the first thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you have to come out the house, like when it comes to the dating aspect. And I'm glad that we are out the house now. Yes. Because I think for the first bit of our walk with Christ, we were into the house, which is fine. We were in the prayer closet, which is where you should really be. Yeah. Because you were in, like, we were in the world already, and we had enough so we outside. Had to kind of have to come back inside.
Get a little refinement.
We had to get refined.
Before we come back out here.
But I think what I would say in my experience is like, I personally think we stayed inside too long. Obviously, everything happens in God's timing, but I feel as though like I was like, we were really, really inside. You know what I'm saying? Like there was there was a season where it's like we really weren't socializing as much with the opposite sex or in general.
That's fair.
We would go to church, we'd volunteer, and we'd go home. Yeah. Then we work, we'd go to Bible study and come home. Yeah. And then, you know what I mean, see the family and come home. Yeah. So it was like, where were we actually going to meet anybody in that atmosphere? Yeah. And as I reflect, and I talked a lot about this, I feel as though he was even kind of showing me where it's like, we should have been connecting. We should have been, in a healthy way, of course. Like, we should have been putting yourself in the line of sight. Yes. Because you think about Esther in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like Ruth told her to put herself into the line of sight. Yeah. And correct me if I'm getting it wrong. Like, I'm obviously paraphrasing.
For which, Esther, you said?
Sorry, not Ruth. Naomi. Sorry.
Okay.
Naomi. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Told her to put herself in the line of sight of Boaz. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you're into the field. Yeah. Make sure you're doing what you got to do so that him see you. Yeah. and in a sense, like, understands the situation that's at hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and like, make sure you go lie at his feet.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, being intentional. I feel like we didn't have no old lady to help us, tell us to go and go lay at their
like,
feet.
now is enough. Like, come outside, like,
come out the house.
Yeah. Bathe, put on your clothes.
Bathe, look nice. Put on a little makeup so you look all right.
And that too.
And come out the house.
I think too, like, and even when we did come out the house, to your point, like, we weren't coming, like, looking on point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I was wearing slacks and a big t-shirt.
Yeah.
And my hair was in a bun.
Yeah.
To show you I am a Christian woman and I'm just going to the grocery store and coming home. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I think God has like rewired our minds.
Yeah.
We think about the Lush mindset and like thinking of that, like coming outside of just the basics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can still look nice and be Christian. You can still dress up and be Christian. Like, you can still feel good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put a little lipstick on and smile and make an eye contact with somebody and say, hi, my name is Laurie. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think my whole point was like talking with God. I realized like I was in the house way too long.
Yeah.
I spent years like where he's like, it's not like I'm saying you had to be isolated. Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
And you know who you are if you have to be isolated and God's calling you to be isolated. But are we staying too long in the house?
Yeah. I think that's fair. Like, that's the first step. You have to come out the house, you know, and you have to be intentional when you come out the house. Because at the end of the day, like, when you look good, you feel good, you're confident, and then you're able to, you know, smile and attract somebody who's going to approach you and actually strike up a conversation with you versus, like you're saying, you have your hoodie on, your head down, you're walking, you're not even making eye contact.
Literally, Bible study, home, sleep, wake up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
So I think, too, for us in this last few seasons, like, really just even focusing on the self-care.
Yeah.
Because as a busy person, like, sometimes we neglect ourselves and we don't even think, like, we need to do the most because we're focusing on getting the money or focusing on whatever. And it's like, no, get your nails done.
Yeah.
Get a facial. Like,
get your teeth whitened. Because you want to be able to smile and smile strong. You know what I'm saying?
Things
like,
that,
like,
if you're
these
feeling
little
away,
things that it's okay to do and feel nice. Your nails, if like everything done up. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if we're not even saying you have to do it for a man.
For yourself.
You're for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's like, because again, unless you're called to take a break from that stuff, which we were called, like I was called for a season to take a break from getting my nails done because I was doing my nails all the time.
Yeah.
When I was in the world, and like I was called to take a break from even hair extensions and weaves and anything like that. You know, so God was at that season calling us to be natural and kind of fall in love back with the natural of who we are.
Yeah.
And then after he allowed us to slowly implement those things.
Yeah.
So like now when we tie into dating, it's like, okay, like I feel like God was saying, okay, you had a season to like have that natural state with me.
Yeah.
Now it's okay to come out the house, and, you know, it is okay to go to the festival. It is okay to, you know, go to, you know, an event where, you know, it may not be only Christians there.
Yeah.
But the hope is that God will allow you to still meet somebody who is, you know, equally minded and equally yoked.
Yeah.
You know?
I think because at the end of the day, people learn, grow. Like, that's kind of the whole concept, you know? Like, we had to evolve. So everybody's at their journey and at a different place in their journey, you know? So again, just getting out there, meeting people, having conversations, like, even just down to that, like, learning how to conversate again. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we make it so awkward when it doesn't have to be awkward, you know? Like, oh, if I smile, is he going to say something? Or like, smile, say something. Because at the end of the day, you never know how this person could influence your life and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, when you're going out there, you're making connections, like, you never know how God will use that person. It could be a business connection. It could be, you know, relational connection. It could be spiritual. Like, they may invite you to church or vice versa. And like, you don't know how God will use that connection. So for me, one thing I try to like have in my mind when I'm going out now is like, a connection's a connection. I always say that to Laurie. Like, whether it's romantic or not, or even if they approach it in a romantic sense and maybe it's not there, like, at the end of the day, like, how can we add value? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you have a business, maybe I have a business, maybe we could work together somehow,
and that's something
some way,
that you
know?
It's true. You have mentioned it. I think for myself, like, I'm not going to lie, I struggle with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that I know I struggle with a little bit because I'm like, I don't want to smile with everybody. Like, I don't want everybody to come up to me. Like, I don't want to lead anybody on.
Yeah.
You know, like, obviously it's hard, like, you know, when they shoot their shot, like, you feel bad sometimes if it's not, you know, someone that you're actively looking to get to be with. So sometimes for me, sometimes I'm like, okay, let me just keep looking forward. And, you know, I don't want to feel as though I'm like, you know, doing the most basically. But you have reminded me where it's like, it's okay, like, to still say hi or whatever. If they say hi to me, like, it's okay to make that connection because you're right. Like, a human's a human, you know what I'm saying? And it's important for us to remember, like, the connection of just between humans as being, like, platonic. It doesn't even have to always go straight to relationship.
Yeah.
So, and obviously you're not saying that you have to take everyone's number or give your number to everybody.
Of course. Use discernment.
Have discernment, you know what I mean? But, and like, of course, have respect if you are turning them down or whatever. But I think it took me a minute to come out of the box in that aspect where it's like I had, and I think it's because God, in the first couple years, I had to like keep my eyes down because it was easy to get caught up. You know what I mean? Like, some of these brothers are fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to get too caught up in the sauce and fall backwards. And next you know, you have to repent. And it's a whole thing. So I felt like coming back out. Yeah. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to still have my blinders on like a horse. Like, I'm just going to keep my eyes straight. Yeah. But it's like, well, how am I going to be open to love if I'm still blocking them out even though I'm in the event? I'm just blocking them out still spiritually or physically, So something that God is obviously working on for sure,
And I think it goes back to, like, you were saying, like, maybe we were inside a little too long.
Yes.
Because, like...
So you come outside, you don't even know what the sun looked like. You know what I mean? Like, it's true.
Yeah. Because you come outside, but now it's like you forgot, like, okay, now I have to adjust to having conversations. I have to adjust to smiling again. Like, I have to adjust to whatever the case may be, And that takes time. So now it's like, okay, it pushes you another, like, year or whatever until you feel comfortable, confident enough to say, okay, like, I can actually really have a conversation or feel good about it,
Yeah.
So it does seem like it's a prolonged journey, and like I think that's why we have to just kind of continue to like encourage each other and like get out there, because again, just meeting people, you never know where the connection will go. And we've come across some really interesting people, like, along the way, you know, and it allowed us to even have like business partners, allowed us to have like mentors, it allowed us to have, spiritual people speak into us, and like, if we didn't come out the house, we would never had any of that,
That's fair.
And like in the short span of time, like God has made these connections like exponentially grow. Yeah. And it's like, it took having that conversation, and like a lot of times Laurie will push me to like say something,
But if I think it's more so if it's just like a platonic or like, again, like mentorship or making friends in that aspect of business and partnership, then like wherever we go, I'll always push, for that conversation to be had.
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying?
And I think for me, it helped me to come out of my comfort zone. Because like you're saying, like getting used to having conversations again, getting used to thing. And like even being in real estate, like God has used that to allow me to become more social. So that also strengthened that, like, way of talking and conversating and like being comfortable in that space. So because I've been able to do that in the real estate space for a few years, applying it to dating, it's definitely become a little bit easier. But now when you're going into a dating or whatever, it's like you're still nervous because you're approaching somebody and there's rejection, or vice versa, if they're approaching you and like there could be that fear of rejection or whatever the case may be. But yes, back to it, Laurie will definitely push me. And as much as it's nerve-wracking, like she... through her encouragement, which I know is God, 100%, we've built so many like connections where if I didn't say something, it would have never, we wouldn't even be where we are right now. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's for both men and female too. Like, I think God is always reminding me, and that's why, like, in any situation, any social situation, like you find yourself in, it's important to, again, the human connection. It's important to still have conversations. Yes. You know what I mean? Because you never know how God will use that person, straight up and straight out. And that's really what I think we're testifying to in that aspect of like just having that conversation, because a lot of times, even if the person approaches you and they're like, oh, like, let me get your number or whatever, they might ask you for whatever. I find, at least in my practice, it's like, okay, if I'm not attracted or I'm not really interested, I'll be like, okay, you know what, like, I'm not really interested. I appreciate your boldness and Ray. Like, I still always big them up, because it's like, it's important to have that guts, courage, and you don't want to shoot someone down, but don't even talk to me, like, you're not my type. Like, no, like, I still, make them feel nice. Thank you for approaching me, or thank you for the comment. I'm not interested, but I do appreciate you coming over. And you can always turn it for something good. You can always say, okay, well, if they're still kind of like trying to push, well, you can get my Instagram, and, if you're ever looking for a house or whatever the case is, and kind of turn it for a business thing, like, you could do it that way. Or if you really are just not about it, you could say no, like, but again, thank you so much. And, you walk away. But I think it's just important, like that we realize, like, trying to say yes more than no, at least for me, is like, it could always turn to something else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And we've had our fair share of saying yes and trying to see where things have gone. And like...
Not we, maybe you more. Me don't really say yes too much, but me, I'll try.
You said yes here and there. Like, because obviously we've been dating, going on dates and things like that. So that's what I mean. Like,
well, I'll tell my story of how my dating isn't as yesy as yours. Mine is a little bit more easier because... Okay, you make your point, yeah?
I'm just saying, like, when you say yes, like, even having the opportunity to, like, talk to somebody, that's what I'm talking about. Like, getting past the number stage and, like, actually, like, intentionally getting to know somebody on a dating level is what I mean by the yes.
Okay.
Vote. I say yes more. It's true,
I thought you meant in person. You say yes more in person.
Probably.
Like, where I feel like my way is, like, what I've been used to is the online aspect where it's a little bit more easier.
Okay. So let's dive into that a little bit. So we have different dating styles.
We do. As you can see, different personality, different dating styles, different everything.
I like...
He's just social.
Now
like,
I am, for sure.
Socialness.
And I enjoy it because I'm like, once I realize like it's actually like nice to get out, connect with people and like talk to them, especially after the whole COVID era. Like, it's like, okay, like I want to go to a networking event or I want to go out or I want to go to this boat ride. Like, whatever the case may be, like I want to be out and social. And like Laurie is more.
Me, I think it's just like my whole like business, everything is online. Since COVID, right? Like, everything is online and the way my mind is a bit more analytical and it's a bit more like, okay, I don't want to waste too much time. Yeah. So it's almost like for me, the online is a bit more easier to weed out whatever me need for weed out and sift out, right? Like the Bible talk about sift through the thing, right? So it's easier to weed it out. Yeah. It's easier to be like, okay, let me narrow it down and, see who's interested in me and vice versa and see if anything can go on that way. Like, it's almost like we know why we're here, so let's see what happens. Yeah. Versus in person is a bit more unknown. Okay. And it's like randomized control. Like, like to me, it's like, I like the controlled research where in real life it's more randomized. You don't know. It's experimental, right? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Where I don't really like that. I don't like those external factors, right? So... As you can see, my mind goes that way. So it's just like online's a bit easier, but I'm trying my best to like switch it up. Yeah. Because I don't think the online is working as good as it maybe was in the past. Yeah. I think things have changed where people are online and it's easier to make it more, like flooded with like nonsense, really. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people are not as serious.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm trying to like try something new basically. Yeah. So yes.
Yeah. And I think like, I have to big you up. You are growing in that for sure.
Thank you.
She's been coming out with me a lot to more events and like really making an intention to like smile at people and things. So
yes, I smize with my eyes and I smile with my mouth.
Yes, exactly.
Smizing.
So for me, like I hope to like meet my person in person because you get the chemistry, you get the vibes, you kind of get to talk to them, see how they are, like just really get to know them like as a whole. You know what I mean? You can see the height right away, like. Everything. You can see the smile, like up close, whatever it is, you can actually like experience that in that moment. And I think for me, it does make the weeding out a little bit easier if I'm being honest, only because like
you see it with your eyes.
You see it with your eyes or you hear what they're saying. Like they may just be trying to chat just to chat. Or you can hear them like, do they have intention or actually asking like genuine questions? Yeah. Like you can see, look in their eyes, you know what I mean? So to me, I prefer it that way because I think it just kind of makes it a little bit more smoother. Yeah. To your point, like the online, like I tried it for a couple months, to be honest. And I was like, I can't. Like I have to I just couldn't even because I know maybe sometimes I'm too picky too. So I'm like, I just be swiping like and not actually like stopping to like read the bio and be like, what's this person about? Where I guess in person, like it's easier to kind of say, okay, what do you do? Whatever. Like you get that opportunity or they even get that opportunity.
I think you have more grace for the person in person. You know what I mean? Like you have more grace where it's like, okay, this is a person in front of me. Yes. They're trying their best for ting, you know what I mean? They're going to try and talk to me, whatever. So you have more grace, I think.
I think so too. Because again, like you see the full person, you know what I mean? Like, and like online, it's easy to kind of be, again, picky, like, oh, he doesn't do this or he doesn't look like this or whatever the case may be. Yeah. Whereas in person, it's like, okay, because I'm a short girl, you know what I mean? So yeah, maybe he's not that much taller than me, but he has a nice smile or, he's asking great questions. So I do have more grace in person.
Where online, it's like
where online, I'm like, if you're
like...
5'3" and I'm 5'2", like, sweet. Like, like I let those things get the best of me, So I think I have to meet my person in person because God knows, like, I probably would swipe to him if my husband was online, like just because of my flesh, you know? Like
okay. You're saying you may have swiped, you would have maybe swiped no to your potential husband online just because of
whatever factors, you know, were in person. Like if he were to come up to me, I could say, you know what, like I can see whatever the cuteness, you know? Or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
I know I have to meet my man.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think it's good to at least try both in your life. You know what I'm saying? To even see what kind of dater you are and how you know, what kind of method you like to use when it comes to dating. Like, you know, it's just good to like, at least try.
Yeah.
For me, obviously, I think I'm trying to do the come outside and come up my yard and come up my house and, you know, be active and look in people's eyes and see if I relate with them, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'll kind of look away, but I'm like, I want to make sure like I'm having that confidence where it's like, yo, let me look in your eyes and see if you have Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me actually take you in, you know? But my experience, like, you know, over the years, obviously I was in the house, like I was saying, but the last, I want to say few years, I did start dating a little bit more.
Yeah.
And like, you know, being intentional. I think coming from the world and then going straight, like obviously through Christ and being delivered, which was amazing. You know, it's a good experience to have.
Yeah.
I think though, going back into dating, I didn't really know how to navigate it. I think it was harder to navigate because I was like, okay, how do I really go about this?
Yeah.
And I think I should have been incorporating God a lot more in my steps, but I wasn't.
Okay.
I think I was just going back to like, okay, well, this is how it worked in the world, so let me just kind of almost do it similar.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And I think because of that, I almost started to fall back into the same worldly like situations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like I have to, I guess now I have to like really pause and be, okay, God, how do you want me to like navigate dating? You know what I mean? How do you want me to navigate communicating and meeting and all this different stuff that comes with the different steps?
Yeah.
You know, I was in a relationship. I did end up meeting somebody online and I was in a relationship for a bit. I think it didn't work for a couple of reasons. And I don't think it was because we met online. I think you can meet online or you can meet in person, but in this case, the man was a liar. And that's just really what it was, like straight lies. I think nowadays I'm noticing a lot more people who are just saying what you want to hear and the love bombing. And before, there wasn't really much of that. So I think when we were in the world, these like new methods of how people are dating and tricking people wasn't really there, or if it was there, it wasn't as bad.
Okay.
Where now, there's a lot more love bombing. There's a lot more of like, you know, people who are pretending who they are so that they can like have this persona and then you think that's the real person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Catfishing, so to speak, but in real life.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that experience, it taught me a lot when it came to like modern dating versus years ago. You know, and people talk about dating like your parents dating, or back then like you would meet someone, they get married, and like after 1 month, this is my wife and I'm gonna marry her. This is my husband, I'm gonna marry him. Like dating evolves over time. And I think that was something we weren't ready for or knew or didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Dating is not how it was 50 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And it also changes based on the climate. It changes based on the location. You know, dating maybe in Africa may be a bit different than dating in the States.
Yeah.
Where certain traditions have to be instilled because of survival. You know, a woman needs to marry a man and ray. Like, there are going to be some changes, of course. But that was something that I've noticed coming back into dating is that there's so many different things that affect modern dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to stay current, stay relevant on that.
Yeah.
And you can only do that by being actively in the dating scene. You know what I mean? Talking to guys, seeing the antics, you know, or seeing the genuineness so that you're able to spot it next time it comes up.
And talking to other like females and like,
talking to others, getting their experience.
Exactly. Like not saying everyone's experience is your experience, but it's just good to educate yourself in all aspects. You know?
Yeah. You may learn something like, because again, there's nothing new under the sun. Exactly. You know? So if there's a certain way that guys are behaving now because it is more of a fast-paced dating scene, or with the online, like you can just swipe in from your comfort of your bed. Like you don't have to go out, you don't have to do anything, and like you're still able to connect with people. It's kind of like there's no effort You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because you don't have to take them on a date necessarily. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to, you know what I mean? Put that time into it because you talk for a bit online and then, okay, whatever happens, you know? And a lot of times they're trying to push to get to the physical quick with the online or even in person too. Honestly, it could be the same across the board. But I think to your point, like, I forgot my train of thought.
I think having God... Honestly, what it comes down to is having God.
Yeah.
Because whether it's old dating or modern dating, whether, you know what I mean, whether it's north, west, south, or east, having God in the relationship to guide you in your steps is what's going to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because God will give discernment. And he'll say, you know what?
Yes.
Like, be mindful of this guy. And I feel like that's what God did for me in my like last relationship.
Yeah.
And Keisha can attest to it. Like, there were days where I'm like, I would pray and say, God, I don't want to get trapped. I don't want to get played.
Yes.
I don't want to get like lied to. You know what I mean? Like, so reveal, Father.
Yeah.
You know, reveal if this is supposed to be true or if it's not. If it's of you or if it's not of you.
Yeah.
And I remember even saying a really strong prayer. I said, God, like, because this guy, he had gotten me a gift. And it was a houseplant. And like, it just kind of goes back to like the Lush mindset concept. You know what I mean? It was a houseplant. And I remember saying, God, if you make this plant like start to like, you know, rot or whatever, then I know that it's supposed to be over. And like, lo and behold, and I'll have to take a picture and like, you know, show y'all, like, one of the leaves started to turn brown on the plant. And I remember saying, thank you, God, for answering my prayers.
Yeah.
That was obviously after many things that happened in the relationship where I kept like asking God to reveal like different things.
Yeah.
But that was one of like the biggest, you know, visual ways that God was like, listen, I'm hearing you. And like, I am showing you like, this is not it. This person is saying that they're of me, but they're not.
Yeah.
So don't get tricked by the wolf. You know what I mean?
And I think even to that point, like, keeping God in the relationship really is an asset, you know? Because there's a couple times, like, when I was on the online, like, for example, I would match with a guy and I'm like, okay, he's cute. He says he's Christian, this and that. Like, I'm trying to chat and get to know him. And like, God, I don't know, he just be working quick
God
for me.
God is good, eh? God is good.
Like, even when I don't even ask, like, he'll shut it down, you know? Like, if he knows the person's not for me, like, he'll shut it down. Like, I'll be, like, interested and, like, okay, like, maybe this is the one, you know? And, like, automatically it's, like, the connection's blocked, you know? Or, like, they unmatch me just randomly. And I'm just like, okay, you know?
It's easy to let your flesh be like, oh, like, what's
easy to
happening?
let your flesh
rise up
and
no,
like,
it's God.
What? You know? But after the second, the third, the fourth time, I'm just like, okay, this is not a coincidence now because you're hurting my ego a little bit, Lord. Like, just unmatching, like, randomly. And I'm just like,
Which
okay.
happens a lot. So I don't think
it does
anything to you.
No, but I know it's one of the ones I'm actually interested is my point. Like, and I can see something. I'm like, okay, maybe God's like, no, like, don't even get too invested. Like, and like, after a while, I start to say, thank you, Lord, for closing that door because I don't want to get too invested if it's not for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're on that dating journey with God, like, there will be times where, like, he will close the door quick.
Yeah.
And it may not be pleasant, you know, because, again, we're at that season where we want to meet somebody, we want to connect, and, like, you want to get, you know, find somebody.
Yeah.
But when he closes the door and, like, I've now just been grateful for it versus, like, getting, like, you know, like, hurt. Like,
yeah,
dang.
First, obviously, it hurts, but then you realize, you know what, thank you, Jesus. Yeah.
So it's interesting, and, like, even going on dates with people and, like, having conversations and, like, hearing what they say, you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes it's so shocking, like, to hear people's mindset. And it's like immediately you already know, like, okay, you're not a match for me because, like, what you're saying doesn't even add up, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, whether it adds up or not, like, I just thank God because really, I want to make sure I'm with the person he's called me to be with who will help me grow and vice versa. Like, you know, we're able to add value and pour into each other. So I've taken the L's and I just have to keep it moving. But throughout talking and dating and, like, actually connecting with people, like, you actually grow, you learn more about yourself. And that's something I just continue to add to the dating scene every day.
Yeah, like, honestly, even for me in my situation, like, I give God praise in all things, like, because, you know, a relationship, you're hopeful, you know what I mean? But if it doesn't work out and it becomes a loss, like, it may be hard, and you know, you give yourself that time to get over and heal with Christ, but it's all for good.
Yeah.
Because if it's not your person, it's not your person.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is be with somebody that God hasn't called you to be with, and it ends up hurting you even worse in the long run.
Or pushing you back.
Or pushing you away from God, which was, one of the tales that allowed me to say, this is not it.
Yeah.
This is not of God, like, because I feel more isolated from God.
Yeah.
So it was definitely an eye-opener, but keeping God in, every step you take when it comes to dating is so important.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, Lord knows we're still out here. We're still outside.
We're outside through Christ.
Outside through Christ.
And trusting God. Like, it's okay, like, for it to be, it may not be fast.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't want something that's going to be fast and, like, burn faster.
Yeah.
I want it to be rooted in Christ so that, like, that flame will burn for, for eternity in that sense.
But I think being intentional at the end of the day, like, there's two sides, you know what I mean? Faith without works is dead. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You can't meet the man in the house. He's not going to knock on the door. So we have to still make efforts to be outside, to be seen, go connect.
Yeah.
And we've been doing a great job, I would say, on that. And our friends can attest to it. Like, I know I definitely have been pushing being outside this whole year, and like Laurie's probably like,
I appreciate it. Obviously, it's still new for me. It's a new concept, and like it is something where I am struggling a little bit, but God is working on it.
And I think too, the more we do it, the more we get outside, the more we connect. Like it will bring us to that person quicker.
Yeah.
So, and you learn. Again, it's all about learning, growing, flourishing, as our podcast, theme is. And we'll keep you guys updated on the journey. Yes. We do have a few things that we are excited.
Yeah. Keisha's definitely been putting us outside. And
this summer has had lots.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely dive more into like little things, So, but this was just a little bit to show you guys kind of where we're coming from, and like the fact that we're even getting back out there and trying to be intentional, trying to look nice. Can't come outside looking crusty anymore. Like,
exactly.
It's great for us.
Walking in purpose is the biggest takeaway we're taking, is like walking in purpose.
Yeah.
Walking with Christ when it comes to the dating aspect.
Yeah.
Being intentional.
Yes. Taking care of ourselves.
Self-care.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And again, doing what you got to do and whatever makes you feel happy and makes you feel at that point to connect. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So hopefully you guys are encouraged and like share with us how your dating experience has been. If you have any questions, like we'd love to hear from you.
Take the pointers.
Any tips for us getting back out there, dusting off our shoulders, dusting off our shoes. We'd love to hear from you guys. But yeah, I don't know. That's it for me.
That's it for now. You know what I mean? Like, God willing, we will have a ring on our fingers in Jesus' name. We're putting it out there. Trusting in God in all things. But of course, we love y'all. We appreciate you guys so much, for all the encouragement you've already given us.
Yes.
As we start back everything with this next season with the Lush Mind. So we do appreciate all those who are continuing watching from our first episode till now. Keep watching, you know what I mean? Keep watching. You're going to see how God's going to move in our life and how he's going to move in your life as well.
Yeah. And remember, if you don't have a lush mind, you won't have a lush life. Exactly. And in this aspect, you won't have a lush man. So until next time, see you guys.
Bye now.